the S&P 500 just hit another all-time high. In a single trading session, today, semiconductor stocks completely led the market. And Intel surged 13% in one day, shocking investors. Here's your full 3-minute breakdown of the US stock market. Let's start with the bigger picture. The S&P 500 closed up 0.8%, reaching a fresh record high. The Nasdaq also climbed strongly, as investor sentiment improved across the market. The biggest reason was easing tensions in the Middle East. Reports that the ceasefire between the US and Iran is holding helped calm fears of a wider conflict. Recently, investors were worried about two things: a potential oil price spike and the risk of a regional war. But Brent crude oil dropped back below $110 per barrel, which helped reduce panic in the market. As a result, investors moved back into tech and AI-related stocks. The real star of today's market was the semiconductor sector. Intel jumped an incredible 13% in a single day. The reason? Apple. Reports said Apple is discussing potential foundry partnerships with Intel and Samsung for future chip production. That news completely changed investor sentiment around Intel. For a long time, Intel was seen as falling behind in the AI race. But today's rally showed that investors are starting to rethink that story. Memory chip stocks also moved sharply higher. Taiwan-based Nanya Technology reported that April revenue surged 717%. Compared to last year, that announcement lifted other memory-related names, like Micron and SanDisk as well. And after the market closed, AMD added more excitement by giving a strong outlook in its earnings report. Right now, the AI and semiconductor momentum is still very strong. Not every company with good earnings went up today. Palantir was one of the biggest surprises. The company beat earnings expectations and even raised its full-year guidance. But the stock still dropped 7%. This looks like classic profit-taking. Palantir shares had already rallied heavily in recent months, so many investors likely decided to lock in gains. After the earnings release, economic data also showed signs of resilience. U.S. job openings were mostly flat, but actual hiring activity rebounded, suggesting the labor market remains relatively strong. Tomorrow, investors will be watching several major events closely. The US ADP private payroll report will be released. The Treasury Department will announce its quarterly borrowing plans, and multiple Federal Reserve officials are scheduled to speak. Markets will be looking for clues about interest rates and bond market direction. To sum it all up, today's rally was driven by easing Middle East tensions and explosive momentum in semiconductor stocks led by Intel. Now the big